Hi there and welcome to an Are You Arty Kids video on drawing a basic portrait. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through a series of little steps to get to something like that, which is a very basic portrait using the basic rules of proportion. There are lots of different ways to do this. This is just one particular way. So we're going to start with the first step. So first step is we're going to have something like this, which is a basic oval shape. Now everyone's face is a different shape. However, just for this tutorial, we're going to base it on the fact that we have a basic oval shape. Okay, so we've got a basic oval, and then what we're going to do is we are going to put that oval into half, and then we're going to put that into half again. So we've got a vertical half line and we've got a horizontal half line, and then what we've got is we're going to put that into quarter. So quarter, quarter, quarter and quarter. Okay, so you're going to end up with something like that as stage 2, and then you can just rule off the bottom here and rule off the bottom of the top as well. Okay, so that just breaks the face down into some basic lines of proportion. The next step, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the eyes. Now, the eyes are a common mistake that people make. If we look at any face, the main mistake people make is drawing the eyes with them too wide open and also too high up the head. So this little technique I'm going to show you is going to give you this area for right proportions. So what we've got here is what I've done is I have drawn 5 sort of loose circles, almost egg shapes, but it can be loose circles, because what we say with regards to proportion is that a face is usually on average about 5 eyes wide. So what we've got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes wide here. Now the first eye is positioned onto the centre of that cross in the middle here, and then I've sort of loosely measured the width of that eye and then put 1 either side, so I've got my 3 eyes there, and that should give me about the same sort of width for another 2 eyes across. And if they go outside of the head, that's absolutely fine, absolutely fine. So try and put that horizontal line straight through the eyes. So we've got a face now with the proportions for the eyes, which are 5 eyes wide. Okay. What you can do then is, using a ruler or just freehand, just between the eyes, just draw yourself some upright lines between them, so you've got some extra guides that are going to go in. That's going to help us with the nose and the mouth. Now what we're going to look at next is actually putting the eyes in. So these are going to sit halfway across that horizontal line, and they want to fill the width of those 2 eyes we've got here, so obviously leaving the one in the centre where the nose will go, and they fill the width of that box in here. And what we've got is we've got sort of rugby ball shape with the iris in the middle, which is the hole that allows the light through, which obviously you would have that as quite a small hole if it's a bright sunny day, and quite a big hole if that's quite a dark environment. And then we've got a top eyelid and we've got a lower eye line. So what you would see if we just look at the eyes on their own, just to isolate those eyes, what you will see there is that the circle of the eye is not complete at the top here, because the top eyelid cuts that circle of the eye. So you never see the full circle of this eye completely, usually, unless you were to put your fingers in your eyes and open those eyelids out, or stick matchsticks in your eyes, which I wouldn't advise. So that's why one of the common mistakes is people draw that entire circle. So you can draw that circle in first, and then as long as that top eyelid cuts that top circle, then you're going to have that shape just about right. And as I say, it's sort of a rugby ball shape, really. If we look at a picture of a skull, just to give you a flavour of some of the common mistakes that people make, obviously we've got the skull orbits where the squishy eyes actually go into, and people tend to think that these are a lot higher usually, and people don't realise the actual shape of those orbits for the actual ball that goes in there, and then obviously the lids would go on top of that as well. So let's just get our grids back in here, and then our eyes are going to go on top. So we've got those in the right proportion, so the right width apart. And the next one we're going to do is we're going to look at the position of the nose and the position of the mouth. So what I've done here is I've just drawn a triangle that goes from that centre line. You can just see through there, from the point where that horizontal and vertical line meet, and I draw that triangle out so it cuts those two vertical lines here and then follows it straight off the page. And you see I've put a circle here. Now that is just a position for the front of the nose. Now you will need to remember to sketch everything out lightly, because these are your grids and proportion lines and they will want to be in main rubbed out. So that is just give you a flavour for where the front of the nose will. But because we've drawn this triangle out here, that's going to indicate the width of the nose at that point. And then these are going to help us with the width of the mouth as well. Okay, so that's where the proportions will line up for the nose. And then what we're going to do, I'm just going to overlay just to show you very basically. Obviously everybody's nose shapes are differently. However, you have the bridge of the nose that goes vertically between the two eyes, and then obviously you have the base of the nose that sits on that line there. Okay, and you can see where we've got that circle where lines up at the front. And we've got that flared nostril, that sort of bracket shape that comes out there, sort of a bracket where it goes in and then out at the bottom. And then obviously you have that gap, which is that little ridge in there that goes just above the lips. So we're going to put that in there in the position where it goes, so you can start to see that everything's starting to line up now. And then we're going to move on to the mouth. So the mouth, so in terms of positioning, what we've got now is we've got our quarter line where the base of our nose is, and then we've got our bottom of our chin line here. And what I've done is I've just broken that section, that quarter, into thirds. So I've drawn a third line across and another third, so 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And then to put the position of the width of the mouth, I'm just using that triangle that I've got from the position of the nose. So the width of the mouth runs the width of that triangle, and then my mouth sits into that middle third, so the top middle third. Sorry, the top third is where you have that little indentation under your nose and above your lips. So your mouth will sit in that middle third there, and then obviously you will draw your lip shapes in with that little crest in the top, and then your centre line and your lips come out there. What I will do is I'll do some separate tutorials on drawing eyes, noses and mouths and ears at a later stage. So at this point what we're doing is we're just getting the basic shapes in and we're getting them in the right place, which is really, really important. And then one of the last stages I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ears in position. So what I might do, because it's getting a little bit difficult to see, is I'm just going to strip this back with the nose and the mouth so we can see where the eyes are, and then I'm going to put the ears on so we can see. Now the ears are another common mistake people make in terms of the positions. They tend to sit in and around the eye area, so the middle of the eye, and they go down to that line where the nose will come down to. So eye to nose, either side, and symmetry is something that people struggle with, trying to get the same sort of shape. And I've just put a very, very, obviously everyone's ears are different shapes and sizes, but just a basic sort of out at the top, in the kink, and then out for the earlobe at the bottom there as well, just to get that basic shape in proportion. So let's just see if we can actually just see if this will show up, just about line all that up. You can just see on the video it's all lining up. So I'm going to take that one away and then just go to our sort of what would be one of our finished ones. And the last thing I want to talk about on this one is the neck. Now the neck, if you feel on your own jaw, if you're speaking, you can feel that jawbone. The neck tends to be wider than people think. Now an adult human head will probably be in the region of 20-25 pounds in weight. So it's quite a heavy piece of the body, hence the neck needs to be substantial to be able to carry that. Now, what common mistake is people draw necks too thin, so they usually go sort of that jawline down, so feel on your own face for where your jawline is, and then bring that neck coming off there, so it's wider than you probably think. And then other areas that you would want to concentrate on are obviously the eyebrows, getting those in position. So if we look at probably one of our eye sections, just bring this one off. In fact, actually, that could overlay. Let's have a look. Let's put that one there and put our eyes in position. And our eyebrows are going to sit within those two boxes where we've got our eyes, and they would just sit above. Now, same again, everyone's eyebrows are different shapes and sizes, so you know, some people have those sort of big caterpillar size ones, but they tend to be thicker in this edge here and going out to be thinner, and they don't, you know, form a kink like the shape we've got here. They are a lot flatter than you actually think. So the eyebrows tend to be just above the eyes in that sort of column there, thicker at this end than usually outer at the side. And then the final thing you'd probably want to do, just in terms of getting those basics in place, is getting the hair on. And remember, you can just see from that original oval, you can see our oval here overlaid, that the hairline probably is inside that oval, probably goes higher than that oval shape, and then we'll cut down at the sides. Depending on the hairstyle, it might come out the back, it might sweep over the face, it might be shorter on the sides. That's obviously down to you observing the person or the photograph that you're actually using for your portrait. However, the hair will come down a lot further than you think onto that forehead. Your hairline will be in somewhere in here, and then obviously that hair will go above. You can just see that where the original sort of face shape is on there. And what you might do is just take some width off here as well to make it less egg-shaped. You might want to put, if someone's got quite pronounced cheekbones, might want to strengthen that out completely. But that is a really basic guide just to get face and proportions in there. And what we'll do is we'll do some work on shading and tone and individual facial elements in other videos. So I hope that was quite useful just to get you started on drawing something in proportion.